Yeah, something about this stuff. I don't know. I was looking at Eddie Grant and Nelson Mandela. I was like, what's going on there? And let's put the Gales on. Michael Scott's that hairy guy. Looks like Alice Cooper to me. Michael Scott from The Office. This is about J.D. Salinger, Obama. The same man, the Predator, learned to talk like an American. Ah, 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 ah. But he's really an old author with maybe a little bit of a different accent. Maybe he talks in a different language. The Swedish plumber, Joe Biden his time, who killed Abel in the Old West, Cain, the old snowleopard assassin, Asian Cain. Looks like one of those Asian Swedes, yeah. John MacArthur, Hexagon Church, home of the Masters. Riggs, there's a bomb in the toilet. The sewer system connects to Shangri-La, the Japanese garden. Was that the alien going down there or what? Jerry catching a marble rye. The Yankee Clipper caught it, George Alexander. Caught the marble rye on the net, on the hook. Jerry was pitching it. The Queen's pitcher, It's a bit of a joke there, because I think Joan Rivers said, sure, they all know. Well, we didn't. And so that would make someone guilty and someone's mafia guilty. And if they all knew, well, sometimes it's better to say you all did it at the same time, or you could all hold on to it together. Fight to the bitter end. Or just say, that was a fuck up. That was a fuck up. Because to practice lies and deceit is wrong. And that's what leads to mafias, Hitlers, Holocaust, wars, plagues, massacres. Some people actually, that's what they wanted. They're the nihilists, and they work in this stuff, and they play on your sympathies, then they play on your perversions, they play on your mind, play on your wallet. They're looking for war the whole time. And then there's big fat chiefs who know more about this country, and it's a bit of a feather game. Yeah, pump your feathers up, right? Whoever's got the nicest feather, he must be the native. Anyway, okay. So J.D. Salinger, catcher in the rye. But he's a native. But see, he's got old world connections, though. Jewish connections. He's got other non-Jewish connections too. Though. Yeah, he's got strange connections. All over the map connections. But Anne Frank, Frankenstein, the Germans, and the Prussians, or the French, or the Gauls. Well, maybe there's more to Nazi Germany than they told us, and more than the stealing and whitewashing of America than they told us, and more than the scalping of God's children, and who was scalped, and who was hunted, and who was roped off and taken to faraway lands. Yeah. And so who do they want to bring you? And so Vishnu, they said, was the God of all things, and that's what they showed Mr. Obama as. So maybe J.D. Salinger is the sacred cow. He found the eye of the needle there, but he found it in a very strange way. Did they cocoon? Or did they cocoon into another man? And it's a serpent, a predator. Learn to talk like the American. The alien always wanted to be the American president. Ronald Reagan. Who was Ronald Reagan? An actor? A Cain's assassin? DeSoto? Emergency? DeSoto and Plummer? Christopher Plummer? Old Kris Kringle? Saint fucking Nick? John MacArthur? Joe Biden, his fucking time? Killed Cain, killed Abel? Martin Luther King? Because John MacArthur wasn't able to preach like fucking Martin Luther King, so he killed him? Put his hands in his blood and stands there going, turn to chapter, blah, blah, blah. Like a spiritless dead man? And sits in a hexagon church the year I was born, because they play cartomancy, time wizard games, Siegfried and Roy level stuff. Hungarian wizards from Aragonia, the planet of dragons. Remember that show where those dragons were sitting around? That's them. They're writing about their selves. So would you imagine that? That as they had the McCarthy trials for the communists, they were actively working at bringing in Nazis in. Other ones from the Eastern, but they weren't communists. It wasn't about communism. It was a religious thing. It was like Batman with Ra's al Ghul and those Eastern monks. The Catholic Church is known as a bit of a beast or a viper, and it has monks. Hitler went to see them. He wears the Iron Cross of the Catholic Church. The wagon wheel of the Nazi is circled by the Ouroboros in the Hindu tribe of Jain, or whatever Hindu tribe that is. But they worship Shiva, the destroyer. Kali, the vampire, shown in Dusk Till Dawn by the woman who played her in as the muse in Dogma. That was Kali, the vampire, a sexual vampire. But on the spiritual level, she's got fangs and multiple eyes, and they know exactly who she is. And so at the hospital where Jurgen was murdered, she was all over the walls there. And she came to me in a vision when I was taken up one night, and they were there to mock me. And then God showed me more. So LA was the end of the line. It was the Old West where Cain, Carradine, killed Abel. Or was it in the land of Lot? God brought his children California dreaming. And they set up shop here, JPL. The granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. Is that where they killed the Lord? With the Californication, the Rose of California. The wild rose of California is the crowny thorns. And the La Casita de Arroyo is the witch's house. Or is that the someone else's house in the Bible? Under the Suicide Bridge. By the spooky LA Wash, where you hear the water going underground. But when you go to Pasadena, it's beautiful. And it's an older kingdom. And there's a citadel in LA and a La Habra, so you gotta wonder if the harbor was there. Because Bandini owned the whole thing, and so Bandini's manure, we know that. But so is and a Brahma witch and a Brahma bullshit. So if LA is a bunch of Brahmian bullshit, and that religion is a bunch of bullshit for the fallen angels to do bukkake, then you could fuck off. Or you get your just dessert. And so they seem to have stolen something called the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, and a man named Richard Ashworth has it in Australia because these Mac Arthurites are from down under. Because I believe they were tossed out of the old country and sent to Devil's Island or a prison. And like they said in Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrels, well, if you got a gate and you don't use it, what's the point of having the gate? So there's some bad players out there. Oh yeah, the Space Needle, Sauron, sentient energy, sentient energy, the fucking technology, the reverse engineering, the lying to you about sentient energy. They've connected to Satan, who's talking with God the whole time, and there ain't nothing new under the sun. It was Back to the Future the whole time because you fell. You fell in time. So the Nazis is the wagon wheel of time, and the Ouroboros is the time circling that wagon wheel. So they come in from different angles. And the center of the garden, the North Pole, Santa Claus's house. He's given us all these presents and we get to deliver him a present. Because he stole all the water, which lets the river run, and all the food that grew. And so Mecca is Indio Shield State Farm, and they hid this. And they had it, well, their grandpa, they crafted it so it goes to a guy's yard and he opens the plug. Maybe they did that for a good reason. We just need to open the plug and let it flood. And then let the river fill. Keep filling it and keep filling it and keep filling it until the Grand Canyon is full. And all those native canyons are full. And there's beautiful fish and water and turtles. And the river's healed, and the men fish, says the Lord, when you walk into paradise, and the lots are divided. So, killing Kennedy, Bane, Vietnam, him looking like Chirac, Bane, Batman, American Gangster, Cagney and Lacey, Clay Lacey, Van Nuys Airport, John Densmore Street, Jim Morrison, Jim Morrison's father, the drug trade, heroin, the fucking massage parlors with the fresh bukkake hookers that don't have to go around the whole spice route and get taxed by all the fucking sand wizards and gypsies along the way. Now they come right through Hawaii and get brought fresh to fucking Van Nuys. And then your seed can be sent back so they can send a Gemini man to you one day. And all the spices that keep those dune sand wizards alive. I think they're called the Druid ones, and they said the princess doesn't look Druish. No, she's not. Yeah. Anyway, so John MacArthur, the Druid dragon, Cain from the Old West. What about Larry David over there, or John Piper? Is it wizards? Like father, like son. Obama, Vishnu, and Tulsi is the spice offering, and we know what the Spice Channel brought. We know what that Greek college system does to the young ladies and whatnot. Gets them ready for the real world. Yeah, the real world. That show was kind of a train wreck, though, if you remember. Some drunk Irish guy. Some cocky fucking surfer Nazi. The black guy got kicked out just for telling a funny joke and calling the crazy bitch crazy. Yeah, that's right. She was playing with his mind and he got kicked out and shit. Yeah, that's right. The Real World on MTV anyway. It's kind of a reoccurring theme. Ever been to the beach lately? Cocky bastards. They kind of showed that in the movies in the 80s already, that that's what was coming. Nazi surfers. Butthole surfers. Oh yeah, vaping was coming. They showed you that. Prayer of the Roller Boys, but they were poisoning your nuts off with it. Sterilizing what they called the lower breeds. But they didn't talk about the Dianus is a drug called the Dianus through the mind. Mark of the beast, give you a chrysalis, tell you it's an inoculation from the Red Cross that Hitler wore. Hitler wore the Red Cross. His grand day of the noose has not happened yet. What if Hitler, Napoleon, Genghis Khan, Vlad the Impaler, Vishnu all teamed up and had Disney on their side? Might be a bad day for America. Might be a thing we caught America. Oh yeah, then the U.S. quarter is worth 11 cents per each quarter to make, and so if some fucking person wanted to go into counterfeiting, that could be probably a lucrative investment if it's like you just make you the old quarters and stuff and then use them and whatnot and trade them in and distribute them. I think they still take the quarters. Yeah, I still think they stick the quarters. I don't know what an old dollar's worth. Gold was never copied though. Bitcoin could be hacked and just shut down. All the Bitcoins are gone one day. How could you do that to gold though? Silver. That was all stolen. Copper penny was replaced by a worthless penny, a bunk penny, and then the value of the penny fell. So you like what you guys got here, huh? You like that Vietnamese part of Temple City over there? You ever had that spicy sausage? The part of town where they got no English anywhere in town. But it's Vietnamese. Like we went to war with Vietnam, right? So they got part of our town. Japan got part of the town, Korea. It's like they had a big secret, and it was the hair lip of Hitler, the dragon mark of Kali, of her little dragons, her little mutants, her little mutant ninja turtles living in the underground. Ready to surprise you dusk till dawn one day. Beautiful, Cheech, beautiful. He's got that too. OTMs didn't speak Spanish, neither did Cheech. He spoke German. Beautiful Hindi hair killer. Looks good in the Sharapi, Cheech, he does. Marvel, so does Chong. They both look good in the Sharapi. They like to wear them too. Crawl on all fours. They like to crawl on all fours, those two. So the weather underground, Obama, the tantric Nazis, oh, let's all look at the communists and get prepared for the nuclear bomb as they plan to bomb you with your shit because their German scientists learn how to make elephant toothpaste. And they wanted to give you a dookie bomb from all the nice stuff they've been collecting and shipping off from Rome. What have they been doing with all that solid waste? I think they've been freezing it and taking it to the center. Then they wanted to pull the drain plug, and that's the logo of Sherwin-Williams, Thrasher magazine, who worships the Baphomet. So, they're Satanists. They want death. Do unto others what you do unto yourself. You do unto yourself what you do unto others. Vice versa. Trillium, alchemy, magic, time loops, wormholes, wizards, watching your ass from the future and mocking you as you're sleepwalking in the dark, hiding. The third kind, the Hermes, and the dragons, all the little wizards, the leprechauns, and everything else out there that was created along the way that they tried to blame God for as they went to war against God. Through that, by creating hybrids and mutants, warring against God, blaming God for it. That's the fallen. That's the mafia. That's their great secret. Now, if they knew all that, they probably wouldn't have held it. They just are in on a secret. They're all in on a secret. A secret so big, none of them know it. Fractional reserve banking, well, it ain't got nothing on the fractured mind of the world and the mosaic being painted. And all you just see is your little moment of time. But all this has happened. But they keep your mind distracted as they're killing you with cancer and bad energy. And they stole free energy and tried to take it right out from under you and reinvent it elsewhere. Full-on gypsy fucking carpetbaggers. Full-on Arab Spring was the Irish Spring, but it was run by druids, but they were fucking, yeah, whatever. Sand wizards, serpents. Lebanese, tall cedars. That's like a judgment. But what about the old world and the new world in Brazil, Hawaii, the Pineapple Express, the Jersey Boys, and the Valley, North Hollywood and Sun Valley, Burbank, all around that mountain to JPL and Hollywood, and the treatment of South Central, and the flooding of South Central with all the hordes of all the empires, of all the nations that the empire controls. And the empire is the Grand Orient, France, Canadian, Brazilian, UK, Russian, Hungarian, Mongolian, Southeast Asian, Indian, big time, British East India Company, Pirates of the Caribbean, Sri Lankans, all the good cricket teams out there, oh, yes. The Moors, the Masons, the gangs. What's it all lead to? No one knowing what the fuck's really going on because you practice coven, and that's what witches do best. As they planned your grand surprise. See, when you crank the handle outside of the cube, pops a clown. They call it the Jack in the Box, because the Antichrist doesn't worship the God of his fathers. And they've been going around that cube, waiting for someone to pop out. Who pops out the cube, guys? The Hanson Dam, Phoenix Rising, the Church of MacArthur, hexagon, the pyramid that it's drawn on, mega control systems with Apartment 666, something about their test lab, and that old machine that's in there too. Looks like it came out of an old submarine. And the cables were braided and looked like the cables from the Matrix. Yeah, they were old cables that you know, the old cables connections. It had the twist, turn, and plug in kind. They don't use those anymore. I asked them what they were for, and they said it was for the old machine there. What they're into, I think they've shown it in the movies. So an old native, ready to go again, right at the hour of chaos. And so he was brought back to the Choctaw, and they really seemed to have a love for Oabama. He went to visit them, so he was brought back, but he went to them. I looked at the pictures and said, yeah, that's their boy. He's back. And so the Germans and the Mexicans, their annual soccer match down there in Tijuana, these little leagues that they have all around the world and these little meetings, seems like a little bit of nothing, but they know they're getting a good life out of it, so it must be something there, right? The creation of the Ubermensch, Mr. Universe. Oh, Mr. Universe, yes. Oh, but it's not the big one you gotta worry about. For next door to me was little Gesa. A haircutter, Hungarian, oh yes. Hungarian, or whatever it is. Here's a picture of Arnold right here. Okay. He wanted to be the leader of America, too. He wanted to be the leader of America. They all wanted to be the leader. It's their way. It's a game of domination, master and servant. It's their wicked way. Celebrating Clint Eastwood every time he shoots a man. Cain needed a gun to be able to see. A sword, his farming tools, a backstabber. What happened to Abel, God said, Cain murdered him. He's a coward. That's why these things happened in private, you see. Because if it happened in public, you'd see Cain as a coward who can't defend himself or fight. He's just a sneaky murderer who worships ninjas. In the way of the sneakiness, don't get caught as you see him sneak up behind and stab people. Backstabbers, Catholic, assassins, Shaolins. Not gonna judge everybody. Everybody was kung fu fighting. And so whose silk robe are you wearing, really? Jimi Hendrix looked pretty comfortable in his right there, that's right. And he said there was just a little bit of time left. Someone put a bottle down his throat. Now, he did play with Chong at one point. Now, Beardo says they shot John Lennon and put a tumor in Bob Marley's head. And if you talk, they'll kill you. Why? Because you work for Vishnu and destroyers waiting in the wings? And Beardo, you wear the sickle and the hammer? Showing who you're actually from. The Huns and the mongrels and the Khans. The wrath of Khan. Gypsies. Circus gypsies. God did it, he allowed it though. Because people turned their back on God and watched their little Circus du Soleil instead. Their hoes and their drugs. Oh yeah, and the picture of what they did when they found the Garden of Eden, well, looks like hedonism. And Kemet became Hermetics. And pretty soon you had Hermes and Hermaphrodites. I probably don't say that right. And they say that happened in the land of Lot, the fall, and the Chinese worship where these dragon beings came down. And so they went there and brought us. And so all those people that are involved in this and have this secret, Hitler had that mark. The Joker has that mark because it's time to expose it. Cheech had that mark. His name equals Hare Krishna, and the numbers do add up properly. Maggot equals Pharisee. They come from Coventry, Wicca, or Coventry, England. So does Wicca. Or does that come from Laurel Canyon? And Pasadena. And the La Casita de Arroyo. I don't know. Maybe that was someone else's house. Well, the man that was watching it, his name was Marcus. Had to wonder if that was the real Marcus Aurelius, and well, he may not have looked like old white Caesar. Might not just be America that was whitewashed, guys. Anyway, yeah. Anywho, so hey, who knows? I could be the Spaniard Cinderella man after all, guys. You know, Prince Adam from He-Man. But Prince Adam was the nice guy, that's right. You don't want to see me when I'm angry, guys. Anyway. Samurais, The Last Samurai. Tom Cruise. Cruise missiles. Neo. Asian eyes, Asian eyes. Oh, Bruce Lee, the dragon. Oh my, watch out, it's Bruce Lee, guys. Oh my gosh. Anyway. The Asian gangs of Arcadia, Temple City, Arcadia, Bandini de Stearns, the Arboretum, Myfesto, JPL, Stargate SG-9, Back to the Future, the Space Needle Sauron, the Hoover Vacuum Cleaner Dam, the Silverado, Lost City of Gold, Buried Under Glamis, El Dorado, Seattle. The land bridge is hidden, and we should be able to travel to Hawaii without an airplane even. Maybe a little bit of rowboating, maybe some rowboating. Row your boat. They're causing the big one, binding up the ley lines so the earth can't move, but it wants to. But if it did naturally, it would let the water back in and heal itself so it could massage itself so it doesn't crack, it just slides. But since it's dry and all the water's been put out and dammed up in Canada, and they have the Dragon Triumph system with the sun and the dome and this whole thing, it seems. Anyway, there's a lot more to it. And then the whole ice and the trident, Poseidon, and all the riddles. Have you seen Pirates of the Caribbean, all the gods and different things that was going on in that thing? Well, it represents this world, and it's been run by the Pirates of the Caribbean, guys. Why? Because they're all from Russia, Kazakhstan, they're all from Buzukabul and this and that. Now they're from fucking... they're from Nepal, and they're from this land and this land. They all got a state down in the islands, guys. Yeah, they all got a state in South America and the islands. That's right. Oh yeah, then they got pirates over there in Southeast Asia too. That's another island region full of pirates. And so pirates love islands. There's another islands region called Estonia. They got like 2,000 islands or something up there, right there in near Finland in Europe. And so no one ever talks about Estonia. But remember, Estonia was where the kid was like, the lasers are for the aliens. Estonians, Albanians. What the hell do we really know about these people, guys? Anyway, from what the news told us, they all sound like such nice people. Anywho. Remember the Coneheads? They were French-Canadian. But then Wisconsin's right there. Hello, Wisconsin. Red Foreman. Oh my gosh, a big head. Bo Burnham. Bill Burr. Kill Bill, Cain. There was another connection to that earlier, but it's okay. It still came back to Bradley Turner. And I was like, dang it, you guys. What you into? The dark side of the moon. You're only seeing part of the light. You're not seeing the whole spectrum. You're not seeing the healing energy. You guys been living in fear. So that's the end of the scriptures. I believe the Mooni's in the middle. The book of Ezekiel takes you to the paradise, and it says God is there, and you live with your families forever and ever in such as paradise. And so that is the end of Gladiator. And the Caesar was the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix trying to rise as a phoenix. Well, maybe he can. And I think he would know what that means. But he's walking back to his house. Such is paradise. And all our former lots from our families are given back. Big Papi, see, there's different brothers out there. Yeah, there's Black China. But then there's old Dominica, see? There's different brothers out there, yeah. And so all the lots get given back, but then we all live together as one before the Tower of Babylon, right? So it's in the timing of the Lord. The empire, that was the empire. Ra's al Ghul in Batman was the empire. And that's his tribe right there. Old Christopher Walken was the old Balls of Fury guy. And Syed said it's all about that. He seemed to know a little bit about this thing, Syed Henry Shah, yeah. And he worked there at Mega Control Systems, and they mocked me and called me Jesus, a Lebanese guy. In a pretty mean voice, too. And I was like, you ain't talking to me. You ain't talking to me. Little dudes puffing big froze, guys. That's it. Swing away, Meryl. Big Shadow, Allegory the Cave, Little Worm, Empire Japan is the Emperor of Japan caterpillar. That's Alice in Wonderland. It's a caterpillar. South Saga of Adavan, Johnny Vegas, Milky Pims. Yeah, milk comes out of the caterpillar, guys. Yeah, those are nipples, guys. Hey, the thing walks on its nipples. Hey, dude. What a strange creature indeed. Yes. I didn't go back to Vegas since I was 13. Yeah, I've been since I was 13. We had a good time with Eric in there. I had a good time. The Mirage, Siegfried and Roy, Mickey Thompson off-road, and more quarters and more nitros, baby. That's it, yeah. Go look at the snow leopards in the cage or the white tigers. Mike Tyson was fighting Holyfield soon, it's true. It was on the marquee as the fire lights in the fountain there. Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. Represents lava and a volcano erupting. Paradise. Hawaii. Yeah. So, it is what it is. There's been a lot of prophecy and talk about that. It seems to add up, because what do they want? A deal. They say, let's make a deal. They stole all your water. They did all the stealing. And they want to make a deal with Paris, which equals Shaitan. Syed told me the devil's name was pronounced Shaitan, sir. strange town, North Hollywood. They used to grow nothing but navel oranges. Yeah, that's right. They got a Buddhist temple, Valley Beth, and John MacArthur right there in the same block. It's called Roscoe. And then the Kaiser's Hospital's right next to it. And they put me on a drug called ketamine for schizophrenics, and it kind of made things spooky after that. I've probably mentioned that a few times, but still. It didn't. Things already were. It just amplified it. It kind of like boosted their signal. They got to CAT scan my mind. And put me in the kitty litter box. They called it the Matrix. Remember the part where he's in that white room? It's kind of like that, but I wasn't in there. It's just my conscience was in there. But there was colors on the wall too. Yeah, there's colors on the wall. Oh, well. Anyway, so there's that. All right, so the chief commander, who did you make your deal with? Was it a woman? You made it with a woman anyway? Bob Dylan made his deal with a woman. You were expecting a man, but Caesar's got a salad at the end of the day. And we're all chasing. Yeah. Oh, Dune right there. Look at Dune. So that's a tiny little, like, basically a maggot at that point. It's like a chrysalis, like a moth. It looks kind of radish, but it's a slug. And that's basically where it starts with right there. Some dookie worms, basically. That's the devil where he starts right there. Is dookie worms and maggots, Lord of the Flies and all that. And so that's Dune, and then that worm grows so big because they were feeding it. But then it has something to do with that peyote, too, and these old tribes. Yeah, that stuff got infected or something, and it's a whole spooky thing and shit. And so God, he makes all things new. And the world springs forth. But I think there used to be peyote all over, and then it devoured itself or something, and it devoured its victims too at the same time and shit. And it's like, feed me, Seymour. And so that would connect to those people that go again, because it's that portal. It's that snake Jim Morrison rode. But then he played the death game. Bad game to play. Walking Dead, indeed. So J.D. Salinger, Walking Dead. Obama. Maybe that's why you never heard J.D. Salinger talk, because he was a genius who was preparing this moment his whole life. Had the process down of the skins or the clones or whatever they used. They said the Italians learned how to grow a skin. Maybe that's what it took. Maybe it took someone else's. Remember seeing twins? Ever seen Resident Evil? What if they had like 50 to choose from, and then they, skin one perfect for him. Custom craft designer jeans. And he had the speech and everything just ready, and he had the spirit of Vishnu. They called him the God of all things there. But he wasn't saying anything. Yeah. It was just saying, I know a card trick when I see one. I know a card dealer and a liar when I see one. Someone wasting your time as they're gaining your trust, waiting for their big play. I know a con man. I know how a con man works. They walk with you and try to sell you their con. Might even help you out along the way. Usually financially money's involved, because that shows you that's their God right there. Power and domination. Jerry Seinfeld shaves his chest. If he didn't, he would be a total Saskatchewanian. That's a Sasquatch, and that's where Sasquatch came from, Jerry. Oh, yeah, he's a Canadian for sure. That's the best part of Jerry Seinfeld. Soup Nazi, yeah, that means he came from Canada and shit, just like Jurgen. Anywho, yeah, all the Germans came in through Canada, but they came to the gay district of LA to forget the Germans moved to Silver Lake, which is some prime gay real estate in LA right now. So the only time, Jurgen would tease me about El Zany all the time, because I'd sit next to El Zany at school, and El Zany had purple pants, she was kind of big big booty, you know, braids in her hair. And Zany rocked the boat like me, yeah, because they put us in a box, like literally a fucking box from the supermarket, and say, you go sit in the box, El Zany, and then it'll be my turn to sit in the box. And so me and El Zany had to go sit in the box. Now there was one other kid, he was a Mexican kid, and they tell him to stand in the corner, and he fucking picked a hole in the wall like he was digging out of fucking Alcatraz. We're in fucking second grade, okay? So Jurgen catches wind that I'm friends with El Zany, and so then he starts telling me, ooh, El Zany's your girlfriend, and he knew it made me blush, so he kept the joke going for about 30 years. Yeah, he kept the joke going for fucking 30 years. Until I found out about his friend Wayne, who he lived with over in Silver Lake. And I was like, Wayne. And then I saw Jurgen blush right there. So I knew it was like, oh, these fucking, Brokeback Mountain was fucking Vancouver. It was too beautiful when they saw the Rhinestone Cowboys, Siegfried and Roy showed up with their shining fucking cowboy hats. And that's where all the Germans came to. They came into fucking there. They went to Vancouver, and then they came to LA right here. And that was the route to Hollywood from Nazi Germany and shit. That's the German subway right there. Exactly. And shit, that's the subway system and shit, yeah. Because up is down and Canada's on the bottom, you assholes, anyway. Anyway, North Pole's in the center of the earth. We're all fucked up here. Nothing's where you think it is. That's right. The Aries, it's up on top. Argentina and shit. Oh, fuck. Anywho. Yeah, so there you guys. You know. Oh, Saskatchewanians. Anywho. Yeah, that's pretty funny. And my dog was Rex Baumhaus Dexel. Yeah, Rex Baumhaus Dexel. You want to see? And so my dog died I had to put him down in 1 day. Cancer. Like I Am Legend. Yeah, it was like I Am Legend. And so look, it's my Popeye shirt. Oh, the Popeye's right there. Yeah, you gotta love when you get a Popeye shirt. You get fucking stoked. You get pretty stoked when you get a Popeye shirt. There's Rex. I got him when he was, I bought him before you could even take him home. It wasn't legal to take him home. That's how young he was. Yeah, and he's a good dog. Yeah, he's a great dog. But, he got submarined by the fucking, I think the gardener he put all this extra toxic manure on there, the most hardest one, and it ate him up and killed him really fast. And then that gardener was hired at this house, and he fucking just planted weeds everywhere it seemed, and did a horrible job on my fucking house. And I think he's the gardener from the Desperate Housewives. Anyway, that's right. That's right, Popeye. Good job, Popeye. That's how you clean out the house and get those dirty bitches some camera time. This guy likes to hunt down fucking any animal that he can find with his gun and shit and shoot it. His name's Tony Vaca. That's right. Anyway, yeah, he likes to really hunt with that weapon and shit. Anyway, he seems pretty good. His whole fucking hood of his car is covered with animals by the time he's going home and shit. Fucking what they did to him in the post office, I'll never know. What they did to him in the post office to elicit that response, I'll never know. But J.D. Salinger did pen a good book anyway. That's right. So did half the Weather Underground. They were all fabulous artists. So did the Dead Poets Society. So you got to wonder if they were the Walking Dead. Anyway, French Hellfire. Led Zeppelin, that dude could sing a beautiful high note. Indeed, he could sing a beautiful high note. Full-on eggplant job. Full-on eggplant job. That's right there. Anyway. That was the deal in the 70s. Skinny jeans and eggplants. Yeah, do the math. Anyway, they called it a dictator. Anyway. Yeah, that's right. That's how you got lots of ladies and became a king of a world and shit. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, the dictator. And then you puff your fro too, yeah. Then you puff like a giant. You're not even black, but if you got curly hair, you could puff out a 30-foot fro and shit. And so if you got any curl in your hair, you puff out a big fro, and then you're a full dictator. Then you're Lebanese at that point. You're full Lebanese. No, I'm teasing, guys. It's all good jest. Anyway, doesn't matter where you're from. It's what's in your heart. Yeah, it's what's in your heart, and turn to the Lord. And all is forgiven anyway, but. What's unclean, like those people that want a war and there's all this stuff, you know, the Empire Strikes Back and all that, well then bring it on, tough guy. There you go, yeah, exactly. I think God's prepared a sharp sword anyway, and he's got the big sword, so ain't nothing to worry about. Earache your eye anyway, Cheech. You shouldn't be mocking Jimi Hendrix music like that. That's right. It's harder than you think, guys.